Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new here. Today we're talking about what it means to give the people we love the best versions of ourselves. So usually, a lot of times, most of us are taught to act in a way that basically communicates to the people that we're closest to that they get the most unfiltered, unthoughtful, unhinged versions of ourselves when we're wounded or we feel off or we're having a bad day or we feel the need to act out, right? Or we're going through conflict together. Most of us are taught that this idea of what we're talking about here, what I just said, that comes with loving someone and that comes with being close to them of, I don't have to be as mindful or as thoughtful or my best self or aware of how I'm acting with these people I'm close with because they'll love me no matter what, right? Most of us are taught this message. We see it in a lot of media. We see it in movies and TV shows, right? The people who you're closest to, your romantic partner, your family members, your lifelong friends, siblings, right? These people who we're really, really close with. It's like, okay, I can act out and I can be dramatic with them because they love me no matter what. So I can be totally unhinged and unfiltered and whatever, any and all of that. But actually, the truth is, those people deserve us to be even more mindful, more thoughtful, more aware of how we're acting, and deserve the version of us that is the most mature, calm, controlled, and not lashing out more than anyone else because those people love us. And so, if we really believe love is about respect and care and kindness and gentleness, then we will act in a way that reflects that instead of this totally like unhinged, lashing out version of ourselves that is, well, they love me, so I can be reckless. They love me, so I don't need to show up calm and clear and centered and in control. But again, we want to kind of reframe it here as understanding that when we really love people and we really feel connected to them, it's important for us to not super lash out, to kind of be more in presence and in maturity with ourselves and in connectedness with ourselves than not the other way around. So one example of this would be, for example, you're having a bad day at work, you're having an off day, you just feel bad, you feel off, you're stressed out about something, right? And you come home to your family, your partner, your close friend, your roommate, sibling, anything like that, right? And you like get in the house and you just start screaming at everyone, right? You just like, you're having a bad day. And so like the emotional dumping ground, the place you take it out on is everyone at home, right? Whereas, let's say, for example, 5 minutes ago, you were at the grocery store or you had to talk to a client before you left work or whatever, right? And so you have all this energy and you were totally calm and clear and centered and connected. And hi, how are you? Yes, I'm fine. Okay, things are going like this, blah, 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 right? But so you can remember that, you know, you recognize the ways that you were like perfectly pleasant and clear and had these ways with these people who you weren't super close to, but then you get home and you just totally switch and you're totally just acting out and screaming and yelling. And, again, most of us learn this because it was modeled to us by the homes we grew up in, by our family orientation, by media, by, whatever, toxic relationships. Okay. But, we really want to look at the disconnect of like, you're capable of, showing up in a way that's kind and gentle and loving and forgiving to these people who aren't super close to you. So where's the disconnect? Why does that happen, right? Another example could be, let's say you had this friendship for a really long time and you have a misunderstanding or conflict with them. And, when you're trying to talk about it, instead of, being mindful with your words, being patient, taking time to listen before you respond, right? You start screaming or you call names or you're whatever, because it's like, well, I'm so passionate about this person. I care about them so much that this is how we resolve conflict, right? It's very personal. It's not kind. It's not patient. It's not listening. It's not any of that, right? So you just kind of say these things in a way that's kind of like lashing out instead of really like, I'm trying to solve conflict with you here, I'm trying to keep closeness with you, but because I've known you for so long, I feel like I can just lash out in these ways. Okay, so that's two examples of ways that we don't give people we love the best versions of ourselves, but instead we show up in this way that's really unhinged, uncensored, not emotionally grounded, not very clear, right? When again, these people who we really love and we're the closest to, they deserve the best versions of ourselves, not these like totally emotionally unhinged ones. Okay. So again, I just want to be really clear, like this isn't about not pretending you aren't having a bad day, or not pretending that there isn't conflict to address, or not pretending like, okay, well, I'll never have any problems with anyone because of this, right? I'm telling you, this is more about how you emotionally regulate yourself, and how you use your self-soothing tools, and how you like stay grounded within yourself before you show up to these interactions, before you see these people, right? It's not about like not pretending like these things aren't happening, or pretending like you can just ignore what you're feeling, right? But it is understanding that, okay, maybe, when I get home, I need to send a text like, had a bad day, need 10 minutes to myself before I walk in and talk to everyone. Or, you go to this conflict, you're trying to work through this conflict with someone, and you say, hey, I'm not feeling the best today. I need a little space so I can sort my thoughts before we talk about this, and this. So it's about honoring your own needs, but also considering the other person who you love very much, and saying, what can I do that honors myself and honors the other person, right? So again, this isn't like to stop you from sharing your feelings or pretending like you're not having a bad day or whatever, but it is just remembering, who am I showing up to these interactions as, what's happening, what's going on, and how can I do this in a way that, again, honors myself and honors the other person, in a way that doesn't take my unpleasant feelings out on these people I love, just because I love them and I'm close to them and I think they can handle it, right? But it's the opposite. We want to focus on the opposite here. So these people we love, they do deserve the best versions of ourselves, because they love us as we are. They've shown that. We built these relationships with them, right? So just thinking about, okay, they don't deserve the most unhinged and out of control version of ourselves just because they love us, right? That's where being mature and being responsible for ourselves and cultivating this sense, like cultivating our own emotional regulation and our own self-soothing techniques and our own connection to ourselves, that's where these things add up and feel good, because then we're able to show up and not lash out at these people who love us, and just thinking like, oh, okay, well, they can handle it because they love me. And like, again, when we say like, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, right? That doesn't mean that you lash out in these ways that, again, completely unhinged and totally not kind and not thoughtful towards people we love, right? But that is about, people you develop closeness with, people who see you when you are going through a hard time, when you don't feel your best, when you don't feel strong. That's like being at our worst. And then being at our best is like when I feel alive and connected and things are flowing and all of that, right? So loving us at our worst doesn't mean we're acting our worst. It means we're going through a hard time. It means we don't feel the most lovable. It means we don't feel the most confident about ourselves. It's like when we need a little extra care and lovingness and support, not let me just be unhinged AF and just run around here and do all these things. Okay. So again, it's not about pretending these things aren't happening. It's not about, being this robotic, no feelings person for these people we love, but it is about, I'm having this emotion. How am I showing up with it, more than pretending you don't have the emotion? Okay, so what can you do if you recognize this is happening? Step one, like with everything, it's about awareness. Notice, who do you do this to the most? When does it happen? Where does it happen? What's the situations? When are you most triggered? What are these things going on with that, right? What are the factors? And then identifying, what do you need to do to not lash out, right? So this is very personal, very unique to everyone. Everyone's answer is going to be different. Sometimes it's self-soothing, sometimes it's breath work, sometimes it's going for a walk, sometimes it's working out, sometimes it's affirming yourself, sometimes it's journaling, right? But relying on our healthy toolkit, praying, meditating, right? Taking some time for yourself, doing a different task, taking a break and coming back, but identifying what's in your healthy toolkit that works, so that you can have this outlet that's not lashing out at people you love or taking it out on people you love, right? And knowing what you need, all of that, and just remembering that changing your behavior doesn't happen overnight. So if you are doing this, giving yourself some patience, some understanding, some kindness, but with practice, it will get easier. You will be less emotionally reactive. You will realize, okay, I don't want to lash out these people I love anymore. I want to, kind of be the best version of myself, because these people help me and take care of me so much. And so I want to give like a kind, loving version of myself to them as well. Right. And again, this should be with healthy people in your life. We all, again, make mistakes, but just remembering, this isn't to excuse anyone's bad behavior to us, or we don't do this so that we can manipulate someone else to get them to be a certain way. This is because coming from a place of, I love this person and I respect them, so I want them to be able to engage with me in a way that is respectful and loving and kind. And that starts with how we show up to that interaction. But again, if you're doing this to manipulate someone else, to do something like that, maybe look at your intentions with this, right? But this is for people we genuinely love and care about, and saying like, do I really need to act out in this way? Do I really need to give this version of myself that doesn't feel aligned to someone I'm like proud of how I'm acting? And if someone in your life does this to you, okay, if you notice they lash out on you and you feel safe with them, you feel like this is a relationship that you really want to put more time and energy into, okay, you can have the conversation with them. You can share your concerns and then set the boundaries you need based on what they say. Because again, remember, we don't do this to manipulate other people. We can't control anyone, but we can express our feelings, and with the hope that we can work towards a solution together with someone we love and care about. So if you notice this dynamic in your life, this is an opportunity for you to, say something, for you to change your own behavior. And if you're doing it about for yourself too, you can also express that. And you can say, hey, I'm working on doing this, this, and this. Just to let you know, I want to be less emotionally reactive. If I need space, it's not personal. It's so I can manage my own emotional regulation before I go and talk with you again in the future. So again, it's just about awareness, being patient as you change your behaviors, but really coming from that place of like, okay, this is someone I love and respect. And so I want to act in a way that reflects that, instead of, again, lashing out on these people. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.